Hey everybody, it's Ron and Ellie back for this week's edition of Ask Ron. First up this week is Bob Harding from Pennsylvania.
Hey, Bob.
He says, my wife Brenda and I are new investors, but we found a house we're interested in. It's vacant and listed with a realtor until the end of January. He owes around $100,000 with an ARV of $85,000. Do you see any way we can turn this into a deal?
Well, Bob, it kind of depends on the condition of the house and the payment. If the payment is low, which it probably is with the rates the way they are, and the condition is good, yeah, it's just a normal over-leveraged house. Now, you do have to wait till the listing expires, which isn't a very long wait now, and then go over to the house and just get a contract on it to, I'd probably just sign it up on a lease purchase and then find a tenant buyer to put in it, get 10 grand out of them, and maybe assign that contract back to the seller if you want to, but again, that depends on that monthly cash flow. For example, if there's a $750 payment on that $85,000 and you can get $950 coming in, you might want to stay in and collect that $200 difference. So it's an easy deal, I can tell you that. You sure don't have to worry about the seller being concerned about their equity. So if you like the rest of the information that you didn't send me, yeah, go ahead and get signed up after the end of the month. Now, you can go over and see it now, and you can even get a contract on it if you want, but I would not date it until after the end of January, and you got to make it real clear that you cannot buy this house, nor will you sign that contract until the listing is up.
Okay, next up is Ronald Miller from Maine. He
Hey,
says, in my search of ugly houses to wholesale, I have come across several properties that are vacant with no for sale sign in the yard. Further investigation leads to a clerk certificate of foreclosure on public record. Can you tell me what that means and if I can do deals on these houses?
Yeah, it means it's in the process of being foreclosed on, or it's already been foreclosed on, Ron, and you are wasting your time tracking down those properties because the banks will not even talk to you about them. They will, sometimes they sit out there for a year before they even put them back on the market after they take title to them at foreclosure sale. Here's what you do. You go to any good bank-owned property realtor or REO agent, as we call them, agents that deal in bank-owned properties in your area, and you ask them to put you on the daily feed of houses that are bank-owned or any houses that are listed for that matter that are listed below market value. And you literally can sit there on your iPad and make offers like I do, but you have to get that daily feed. You're doing way too much work going out into the field and then going to the courthouse and doing all that nonsense. I buy all the bank-owned properties I want, just simply picking the ones I want to make offers on, emailing my offers to the realtor, and then after they get accepted, go out into the field and look at it and see if I want it before I even give them the $1,000 deposit. That's the way we do it today. In fact, this week alone, I just got one accepted on a little house in a not so great of an area, and we went out to the house, and when we got there, we looked around and decided we didn't want anything to do with the house. So if you don't want the house, you just tell the realtor immediately. You will not buy properties that are bank owned unless there's a sign in front of them and they are listed with a realtor. The bank simply will not deal with you. They don't want to mess with it, and you won't even get the attention of the right person within the bank. They'll say, see the realtor when we list it.
Okay, next up is Ted Peterson from Connecticut. Ted had wrote you in last week and you sent over some more information, which you have in front of you there, Ron.
I do.
He says, there's a problem I'm having with the deal. The seller is out of state and wanted my lawyer to send the agreement to his lawyer. His attorney is worried that he's not getting enough down, and I'm concerned he might raise more objections, such as interest, as we proceed. Do you have any more advice on my situation?
Well, we probably ought to clue in the rest of our listeners here what he's talking about. Because frankly, Ted, if I didn't have this sheet here, I wouldn't know. The asking price on this house is $70,000. Your comps say it's worth $120,000. That's the ARV. You offered them $5,000 down and $64,000. So you're offering them $70,000 with $5,000 down, $64,900 owner financed with what looks like $700 a month payment with 0 interest. First of all, that's kind of a high payment, Ted, because you've got to factor in taxes and insurance, and $120,000 house isn't going to rent more than maybe $900,000, $1,100, or somewhere in that ballpark. So you're going to be very close on your monthly cash flow. You say you want to, I guess, sell it with a lease option for $120,000 with 10 down at $1,400 a month. Well, that's great if you can get $1,400. You probably can get 10 down okay if the property's in good shape. If it actually is worth 120, I'd make it at least 129.9 just for your information. But back to your question. Your question is, what can you do differently? The answer is nothing. Nothing. You got to have a little patience, man. You're conjuring up objections that the other attorney's going to have before they even have them. Deal with them when they arrive. You don't know he's going to niche on zero interest. You don't know anything until he tells you. And here's the deal. It doesn't make any difference what that attorney says. Your $5,000 down is very, very fair on a $70,000 offer. So you stick to your guns and you tell the seller when he contacts you, listen, I made a very fair offer. Maybe your attorney should buy the house because I can't give you any more down. And I'll bet you the seller will wind up going with you regardless of his attorney's advice. You should tell the seller, listen, have your attorney check my contract to make sure everything's legal. I wouldn't go to him for advice on how you should sell your house. How the heck would he know? And then let your seller make the decision. Regardless of what your attorney says, your seller still is in charge. So just play it item by item and don't get panicked and don't do something stupid by going back and make counter offers before you even have anything to counter. Relax, wait for them to come back to you, and then use your best judgment going forward.
Okay. Next up is Marianne Nunes from California.
Could not do this without Marianne.
She's
who I might add just sold her first deal and picked up 12 grand. Congratulations, Marianne. In fact, you should send me a copy of that check. I'm going to blow it up and put it on the wall here and frame it with your picture right in the middle of it.
That's funny. She says she also has a question about last week's answer. She says, I know that I have control on how much longer I can extend a 2-year lease if the tenant needs more time to get a loan.
Yep.
My question is, do I need to get an attorney involved again, or do I just add an addendum?
No. All you've got to do is do an email, frankly. Do an email to the buyer, say, listen, I hereby extend your lease for 2 years. I wouldn't extend it 2 more years, Marianne. You don't need to do that. Extend it a year at a time, not 2 years. And that leaves you in control. Maybe your house will appreciate greatly in the next 2 years, and you don't want to just give that away. So, and you might even extend it 6 months at a time. So remember, you're protecting you, not your buyer. And just do an email. If you send the buyer an email offering them an extension granted. Case closed. You don't need an attorney to do that.
Awesome. Her second question says, in the Exhibit A lease writer for a lease option, I need to fill out my name and address. If I don't have an office and don't want to use my home address, can I use a P.O. box address on the form?
Yes, you can.
Perfect. Okay, next up is Tony Anzer from Indiana.
Tony?
He says, hi, Ron.
Tony, I'm sorry your team got slaughtered. Oh, my goodness. That was a slaughter.
Poor Tony.
Tony, it'll pass.
He says, I run across many houses that have decent equity with the Lease pendens recently filed.
Yeah.
Is there any way to do a no money down, axe type of investment strategy with these houses?
Well, that depends, Tony, on how far they are behind. In today's marketplace, they're probably so many months behind. The answer is no. For example, let's say the Lease pendens is filed and they're 3 payments behind, and they still got some equity in them. Sure, I'd go get that house all day long as there's enough equity in it to make me see where I'm going to make some money. Remember, all the payments that are behind have to be made up when you install that tenant buyer in that house. So if it's going to take a whole lot of cash, like all you can get and then some, the deal is dead on a terms deal. So, but however, what if it's a year behind? Obviously, you're never going to collect enough cash from the buyer on a terms deal to make up the payments and have any money left over, and probably not even cover them. So it depends on how many months they are behind. If they're way behind, your only play is likely a short sale, which is still alive and well, but still a pain in the neck. Some people elect not to deal with them at all because a short sale is nothing more than a cash offer and a delayed cash offer with a lot of crap in the middle. Honestly, I don't work much with short sales because it's just as easy for me to make offers to the bank on the properties they already own and forget all that short sale crap. And I'm going to pay the same price whether I buy it directly from a bank or I buy it through a short sale. So they don't excite me a whole lot except in rare cases. So the answer is it depends on the rest of the story.
Okay, Ron, that's all the questions we have for you this week.
All right. Well, guys, go out there and get some deals done this week. And this is the beginning of a new year. Make it a good year. In fact, make it the best year of your life. Come see me in the 4-day quick start school. We got 12 of them this year. And I promise you, if you're not, your career's not going to take off till you come see me. You got to get to Papa and let me show you what this business is really about. Spend 4 days with me, and I promise you, I'll open you up to a whole lot of new opportunities. And when you do elect to come, and you will, because I won't leave you alone till you do, Make sure you bring plenty of leads with you as well so we can get you some deals right in class. See you next week.